Now, Phindi, as the only black woman who's currently in the horse racing industry, it's very inspirational. Just take me through how you actually got involved in breeding horses and how you actually got involved in such a male-dominated industry.
Yeah, I think it was out of curiosity, really, because I moved from Johannesburg and established myself in the Eastern Cape, in Ado, where I started growing citrus. And then the breeding side of the farming business came later. That is through an introduction by the late Alvin Phillips, who was my neighbor at the time. And out of curiosity and interest, I just thought, wow, this is something I'd like to do. But I think also, the fact that I come from a family that was farming, that in itself made it easier for me to gravitate towards animal, farming, because my family bred pigs, and it's all livestock, and it felt comfortable, and and I just wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it for the right reasons. When I entered the industry, I was happy, naive. I was looking at all the positive things. I was attracted to the positive things about the industry because I didn't understand what was happening, internally, and I didn't understand the intricacies of the business as well as who the players are and how the industry is structured. So it took me a while to figure out, what the industry is about, and what it means to be, the first black person, breeding, thoroughbred horses in South Africa, because people have their own views of what I should be doing. People expected me to just simply fill a box, get very comfortable, go to the races, wearing ball gowns. That's just not my kind of stuff, because for me it is business.
And I mean, like you've said, you've been very successful in the horse racing industry. And as the founder of the African Race Group, what is your business model?
Look, it's the focus, beyond the breeding side. That's where I started, which I think I can comfortably take it as my years of apprenticeship, because I needed to understand how you make the product, and it taught me a little bit about that, and also to understand the players from within, to be able to decide where I wanted to go. It's simple. The interest is racing, and racing meaning the actual ownership of a race course and running races as a business. Obviously, there are, matters that relate to licensing. There are various approvals. And this is one of the things that we started doing in 2010 when we started negotiating with Phumelela. We then, approached the Eastern Cape Gambling Board and to actually start the licensing process. And the deal, we could not actually accept a deal that was not viable, just because we wanted to say we're racing, because I knew it was not going to last. So the focus and the interest is actually racing, ownership of the race, maximizing the value out of the race course, and bringing in horses from other countries to actually race in South Africa. I am aware of the African horse sickness aspect, which is a big deal given the horse movement restrictions. I am aware of that, but the fact remains you still need foreign money coming in, just the same way you have similar situations in other countries, that is in the Middle East, Europe, and Asia. I don't see why we cannot bring in more players and more ownership into the country. The biggest trouble is that it is difficult to attract foreign players who know exactly how the horse racing industry is run internationally. Because they're not going to fit into a smaller South African arrangement. They already know, is monopolized. Don't forget, horse racing is very cliquey and it's very international. What is happening in South Africa is better known outside this country by a bigger percentage of South Africans, because we compete against other countries. And these countries are far advanced. They look at us and they say their prize money is ridiculous. It doesn't even, attract, good horses.
And I mean, Phindi, as someone who has been on the international market and someone who has collaborated with international horse racing industries, what do you think the industry in Africa needs to grow?
Look, I think the main thing really, it is to break down the barriers. Because where people feel that their participation in a sector is going to be controlled by a few individuals who will be the only ones, enjoying the benefit of participating in a sector, that is recipe for disaster. Newcomers, whether it is newcomers from other countries, they aren't necessarily newcomers, it's people who know, but there will be new players in South Africa. That they must see that the industry is properly regulated and they can participate in this industry, like they would do in any other, market. The South African market is monopolized by Pumalena. If you have one company that actually gotten its racing assets, through a negotiated arrangement and did not actually pay, valuable money for those assets, you have recipe for disaster. But also, they control the regulator, and the regulator is not, regulated in statutory terms, which means what they want to happen happens, because if that doesn't happen, they know they will not finance the regulator. That is a big deal. It is important to harmonize, to open up the industry so you can attract owners, sponsors to actually come so they can benefit. No one wants to participate in an industry feeling that they are participating in so-and-so and so-and-so's industry. What we're beginning to see, where we've lost to the SABC, it is the beginning of a downward spiral. And once that starts, it's going to be very difficult, and it's going to take a whole lot of, capital, and a lot of effort to get things moving again. That's the issue. Horse racing has got to compete with other sports, and other sports are enjoying big numbers. We're not necessarily enjoying big numbers, and the fact that the big races now are not in South Africa's homes, that is actually the beginning of bad things.